Hello, this is a quick overview of the 4-2-3-1 formation simplified for BYSA general principles of play. The 4-2-3-1 basic shape is like this: one keeper, two center backs, and two fullbacks to make a back four, two defensive midfielders, sometimes called a double pivot, that makes the two, three attacking midfielders, the 7, 11, and the 10, and one striker. You can see the important relationships here between the back four and the triangle of the midfielders in the middle. This is an important concept throughout this formation and is good to keep in mind as we go forward. Here's the basic 4-2-3-1 when the keeper has the ball, whether it's a goal kick or after a save. The center backs go low and wide inside the 18 to provide an outlet for the near ball. Meanwhile, the fullbacks, the 2 and the 3, they go out wide to the touchline to provide width. If the other team is pressing forward with 2 or 3 players at the top of the 18, the 4 and the 5 may have to drop further back towards the goal line to give themselves some more time and space. It's important also to make sure that the 4 and 5 don't get too wide in the 18, because that flattens the angle to the 2 and the 3, making it easy to cut off that pass. In the middle, the midfield triangle coordinates who drops in towards the 18. So if one player drops in, the other player steps out and the 10 rotates. Vice versa, if the other player drops in, the other 6 can drop out or rotate out, and again, that 10 keeps that positioning as they go. The 7 and the 11 stay wide, but not as wide as the 2 and the 3 to start with. They need to be able to have the flexibility to move inside, outside, up, or back to find space to help support the 2 or the 3 or the 6 if they receive the ball from the back. The 9 shuttles between the left and the right to help support the play. One of the defining features of the 4-2-3-1 is it's the position of the ball that defines the rotation of 4 key players. In this example here, the ball is on the left side of the pitch. Because of that, the 3, the fullback on the strong side, or the side where the ball is, pushes up, and the 2, the fullback on the weak side, drops back to help support the back 2. In the middle, with the 2 defensive midfielders, one of the 6s on the strong side pushes up to again support the attack, while the other 6 on the weak side drops back to help shield the back 2 of the 4 and the 5. If the ball switches sides, you can see now the 2 6s have reversed their play, otherwise known as that double pivot. They have pivoted back the other way, so now the player that was on the weak side is now on the strong side. They push forward. The 3 drops back to help support the 4 and the 5, and the 2 pushes forward to help support the 7 and the 6 who's pushed forward. You can see here again, we've swung back again, and you can see how that 6 pivots together, working together to keep balance in the middle of the field. In possession and attack, the idea is to create overloads in the wide areas when we push our players up on the strong side, maintaining some support on the weak side so there's an option if we need to go back and need to play through. But you can see here we have 5 players on one side of the pitch backed up by another 2 players in close vicinity behind them for support. If the lanes are blocked going forward, then we can play the switch back through the center backs, the double pivot and the fullbacks switch out, and now we can bring the ball through the other side. In a loss of possession, because we have overloads in the area, the first choice is to counterpress, to swarm the ball with players who are already in the area to try and win the ball high up the field and restart the attack. At the same time, the weak side players are also able to drop back to help fill in the gaps left by those players who are pushed forward. That's why we swing our players from right to left depending on which side the ball is on. If we're unsuccessful with our counterpress, you can see that our job is to compress the space, squeezing back into the middle, and getting back into that basic shape that we saw before with the back 4 and the midfield triangle being restored, and the 7 and the 11 tucking inside to help make a compact formation in the middle of the field, forcing play to the outside. As we push down closer to our goal line, you can see the back 4 is now compressed even more. The 7 and the 11 tuck in and deal with wide players. And most importantly, the pair of 6s act as a shield in front of the back four, sliding from side to side, helping to protect that vital area right in front, blocking passing lanes and keeping things compact, which makes it harder for balls to be passed through the middle, forcing player to either go out wide or to try to put the ball in the air where it's easier to be won. In summary, the 4-2-3-1 strengths is the roles are clearly defined. The location of the ball dictates the player rotations. It's a balanced formation. When not stretched, you tend to defend with 5 and attack with 5. It also limits the need for extreme fitness levels for your outside fullbacks, your 2 and your 3, unlike a traditional 4-3-3, where those players are required to sprint up and down the full length of the pitch. The 7 and the 11 help mitigate some of that because they help provide width, and the 2 and the 3 provide support in their role without having to make it from end line to end line. It's flexible. If a team is down a goal, you can take one of the 6, invert that triangle in the middle, and play with 2 10s and 1 6 to add 6 to the attack. If you're up a goal, you can drop the 10 down into a holding midfielder role, an 8, keeping a back 3 in front of the back 4, bringing the 7 and the 11 tucked inside to make a 4-5-1 shape, which is very difficult to play through the middle. Some of the weaknesses of the 4-2-3-1, you're not as dynamic in the attacking third because you're attacking with 5 players while holding 5 players in reserve, so it is not as dynamic as perhaps other formations. However, bringing one of the weak side players into the attack when needed can provide that extra player and create overloads again on both sides of the field. The striker can become isolated if they do not move with the ball. If the striker is static and just stands around, they can become a lonely figure up front that doesn't get service. The striker also should be able to play with their back to goal, that if they receive a long ball, they can hold the ball up while the rest of the team moves forward, where then they can play backwards to the 10 or one of the on-rushing 7 or 11 and then turn and go. It needs at least 4 disciplined players for the 2, the 3, and the double 6 roles. Those players are the players that need to be disciplined in their actions and understand their role better than everyone else and know where to be and when to be there. And the counter press does need to be coordinated. It can't be just one player chasing the ball. If you lose the ball in those advanced areas, everyone needs to react to go to the nearest player and swarm the ball to get it back. I hope this overview of the 4-2-3-1 helps you understand how it can be played and how it could work for BYSA. Thank you.